This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
How old were you when you realized you were the son of a president?
I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before.
FX's Love Story. John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette.
I didn't think I could love someone like this until you.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
It's not a question of if I want to spend the rest of my life with you. It's if I'm cut out to be Mrs. JFK Jr.
FX's Love Story. John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. Watch now on FX, Hulu, and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers.
I don't think I would ever be a good clown. Like, I've met actors in this world that are like, they have like a real sensibility for it. They love it. But when I was in clown class, I thought I was going to be a miserable failure. They were like, be funny. And then I would try to be funny. And I think I said something like, for breakfast, I ate cat food and it never made any sense or whatever. And then our clown teacher, he looked at me and said, do you eat cat food for breakfast? And I literally just started to weep. And from that moment on in clown class, I understood what the assignment was, which was to be completely and utterly in your own unique experience at all times. So a lot of times you'll watch someone discover their clown, and what they're discovering is something that is just so high stakes for them, something that's so important to them, and their body just really understands it.
How delightful that all of this information and all of this intensity is hidden under the name clown. Hey, Ponder friends, welcome to the second episode of Pondersations. We recorded this a while ago, but today it's a rainy day here in Los Angeles, and I think perfect weather for deep reflection, like I do with my guest this episode, my co-star on Shrinking, he plays Charlie, Devin Kawaoka. We discuss a strong ponder I had about the importance of listening and holding back, and we deep dive in what that means for our acting craft, our socializing, and our lives in general. And we're also neighbors. It's great. Wow.
So perfect.
I love LA for these reasons, you know? Like you can be on TV with the same person that you like share your favorite coffee shops across the street with.
Yes.
It's so great.
And also, strangely, also feel like you live worlds away from someone too. Like someone just shows that and you're like, oh, we don't live the same life at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and please welcome Devin Kawaoka.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're my guest. It's so nice to, I feel like I'm very mellow today. You said something very interesting just now, which was, you can be really far away from somebody in Los Angeles too, and super close. And what's funny is that it's not even distance that makes that the case. It's more like, it's really like the architecture block by block. Because I'll tell you what, I got friends in Los Feliz that I never see. Because there's just like, they're a little bit too hilly where they live. You know?
Yeah, there's a yellow line road right between you, and you can't get across it.
Yeah.
It's a mental
like a
barrier.
Every time I'm like at Griffith Park Boulevard, I can't be like, oh boy, or no, so Los Feliz Boulevard, just like, oh gosh, I just see that hill and I go, I turn tail.
Did you ever live in New York?
No, you did though, right?
I did, yeah, for a long time. And New York is great because you just end up living with strangers. Like it's like you're on your commute with strangers sitting right next to them. Like you're constantly sort of inundated with this level of intimacy with people who you will never ever see again. And I sort of miss that about that city, that it was so easy to have company without having to have any of the responsibility of small talk.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to like say anything to them. You don't have to say hi, no, how are you? No, like nothing. You literally can just sit in silence with a stranger an inch away
and say nothing.
And say nothing.
Yet a profoundly different feeling you have inside at the end of the day.
And yet, if something were to happen, more often than not, if something were to happen, that person would be immediately spring to your care or your rescue or look at you with comment. You know, like there's an assumed camaraderie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't feel like that's true here.
No, I would say that there's an opposite feeling here where it's like you've got eyes on you until they find out that you can't give them anything. And they're like, oh, you're invisible. It's always like, hello, hello, hello. And then it's just like people are just gauging you to see. It's like, are you somebody or that? Like, I don't know. That's such a very cynical view of Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, there are other benefits. Yeah, but it is harder to make friends here, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, you would know. You have the comparison.
Yeah, that's true. So, like, when you're older, so, like, you know, when you're older, it's harder to make good friends older.
In general.
Like, you're an exception for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, like, rare that you meet people who you're like, oh, these people were, like, kindred. Like,
I'm like, Devin, you just called us kindred.
We're kindred.
And that makes me so, like, I'm so honored. Because I think you're, like, high-quality people, you know?
Well, thank you.
But
I think that way of you.
Well, yay.
No.
This is so sweet.
This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
Okay, so something that we do on the show to spark conversation is I pull up my voice memos. These are just little thoughts I've recorded for myself, and you'll see why I thought of you for this one. Yesterday, me, my partner, and 2 of our friends were hanging out, and we were talking about how my partner, Nick, is really outspoken when he has a cause that he believes in, and my friend was like, yeah, that's so interesting. For me, I have opinions, but I don't say them. I keep them to myself. And he said it kind of as like maybe I could be more outspoken. And I get that because we're living in a time right now where it's good to speak up for things that you care about. But yeah, I was thinking about my friend's nature, and what I know of him is that he is a beautiful listener. The thing about Devin is that he like really listens to you when you are talking. It's almost a little like intense in a good way. And I'm thinking about like not everybody needs to be speaking because then who would be listening?
It's so funny what you said at the end. If everyone's speaking, who would be listening? Is basically what you said. I think. I'm paraphrasing it.
No, I think that's verbatim.
It's verbatim. Yeah, I know. You know what's so funny is I know myself to be a listener. So weird. I was just looking at this book you have on this bookshelf, Kawakami. You know, my first name starts with Kawa, which is river, and then Oka is by a hill. I don't know what Kami is. I'm actually just learning hiragana right now. But my family, my Kawaoka side of my family, they're really good listeners. Wow. Like they really don't not a lot of talking. A lot of active listening. And I would say that's not true of my mom and my mom's side of my family. They listen in other ways, but they're not like that type of listener. Mm-hmm. I never really thought about whether, I guess I got that from my dad.
Do you think that it's somewhat cultural, or do you think it's kind of just personality or a mixture? And I don't know. Like,
I think it's a little cultural.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a little cultural. But also, I was at dinner last night and my partner said that I was a young soul,
Really?
which I had never really considered.
Really?
I'd always thought I was sort of an old soul because I tend to like old man flavors, you know what I'm saying? Like I like
Totally.
anise and rhubarb and butterscotch, you know, black licorice.
That's such a funny way to think about what your soul might be. I'd be like, well, this butterscotch candy slaps. I must have lived lives.
Well, and also the listening part of me. Like, I feel like that part of me, the sort of like taking stuff in, I always felt like that came from like, not that I'm wise, but it felt sort of like wizen, if that makes sense. Like, it felt like, I can take information in and process it because I can run it against my own life experience. But in him saying that yesterday, I was like, oh, like I saw a world in which like maybe my first time on this earth in a past life was like in the 1950s, where I really liked licorice and butterscotch. But then also that like there is sort of like a curiosity over experience, over sort of the simplicity of life that I'm sort of listening for.
Wow.
You know, and sort of like sort of trying to see the pattern a little bit. Like I'm trying to see I'm really not trying to just hear the words. I feel like in society and in our lives everywhere, we have such word bias. Everything's about what we say and what we read.
So I really like connect with you.
Like, what I say is what I mean.
Okay.
And as opposed to how I listen or or the silence in between. Like there's so much communicated that's not directly on word.
Yes. Okay. Understood. Go on.
You know?
Yeah.
And even in a podcast form, like through the melody of my voice, through my intention.
Right.
So often where our words are taken out of context, right?
Yeah.
And then sort of blown up. I mean, so much is taken out of context. How we perceive people is through sound bites and little things, as opposed to sort of like the wholeness. So anyways, I feel like when I'm listening, I'm seeing sort of the entirety of of a person, like their essence, their intention, their, I'm really trying to see like what they see in their images as they're thinking through, you know?
Yeah. That is, I mean, hey, these are the practices of a fantastic listener.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, for contrast, I feel like I've been spending my whole life just being like, Lilan, shut up for just 1 second and let your friends say what they want to say. I'm happy we get to be meeting on the timeline just at the time we were ready for each other. And by we, I mean me. You know, I feel like, I don't know. I think that's really what prompted me to make that note, because I was really reflecting on just like, whoa, I've never really experienced listening like that, nor am somebody who's practiced. Like, I guess, you know what I'll say? I am in when I need to be. Like, I've learned how to develop these skills if I'm actively thinking of it and be like, okay, slow down, blah, blah, blah. And I've developed these skills to be a better actor, you know? But literally, I've had to put myself through classes, like improv classes and Meisner technique classes, really boil down to, or like succeed on one general concept, which is like just listen. Listen to your partner, see, and not listen in like you said, in a word way, what they're saying, but take them in, instead of creating some narrative in your head. And I feel like without that constant training, hours a week, I think I'd still be idling pretty high and just being like, bah, 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 just talking.
I mean, I appreciate it.
Me talking?
Yeah. Well, as a listener, like I appreciate.
You're right.
Right? There's yin to yang
talking
here, right?
If everyone's just listening.
Exactly. It would be different. But sometimes when I show up to social situations, a lot of times I'll like, I really hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you like, is it purposeful or you wish you didn't, or what's the feeling behind that?
I think it's, I think it's about being discerning, about not putting myself out there too soon or too early. Trying to get the sense of the room a little bit more. Like, it's a little protective. I think generally I walk into every situation with some sense of like danger, like social danger.
Really?
And so I think that like that experience makes me sort of stay on the quieter side, so that first off, if I take up space, that then I could, something more easily could hurt me, right? But then I think it's also just sort of like being like, is this a safe room? Like, what's safe in here? I'm like constantly sort of surveying the land in some capacity.
I mean, I'm taking this in because it's so different from my lived experience, and you said something that really hit me, which was just like, I go into every social situation with perceived danger. That means you're living your life just looking for predators, like, in a way, you are the gazelle that survives.
Yeah.
But I could use a healthy dose of that kind of awareness sometimes. I don't know if it comes from anxiousness or where protectiveness comes from. Probably childhood somewhere.
Oh wait, it always comes back to childhood,
right? But like for me, it's like, oh no, what will happen if I don't take up all the space? It's so like, my fear is that. I mean, it's not even a fear, and it's not a fear anymore. I would say that I've fortunately evolved from a state of like constant, like, I got to say something, worried about silence. Like, oh, what if there's an awkward silence? I got to fill it, like I'm always putting myself out there way too much. Just like, I'm trying to figure out how to just reel it back.
Why do you think you put yourself out there like that?
I got a mirror question for you as well, so you can think about that.
Yeah.
Why do I think I put myself out there that much? Okay, so yeah, is it, I think it's, I think it's probably people-pleasing, like, thing where I've always liked to entertain. That's always been kind of like a place of happiness for me, and my mom and I kind of have the best relationship right now that we ever had our whole lives, but the bar's been a lot of places during it. And one thing that like was not an issue is like I could do a little song and dance, and she really liked that, and she would want to like make me do it for her friends too, and that was like a way that that everybody won,
Weird.
And I think that if in this moment, I think that's what I would attribute it to. Just kind of like, oh, this is how harmony happens.
is if you're entertaining in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like mine comes from sort of the same thing, people pleasing, but in a different. When I was young, I felt like I was always sort of the peacemaker of my family. Like if something was awkward or tense or someone was sad, like I was always sort of sent in to sort of like cheer and to like and I, just to be with them.
Yeah.
And so it was like a lot of like empathetic listening early on in my childhood. I don't even know that I knew that that's what was happening. Sort of only in the past couple of years that I sort of realized it. And it started happening when I would like, I would go home to visit my mother, and my mom would say, "Oh, let's go visit so-and-so. She's having a tough time." And I started going, why do I have to go do that? Like, why do we have to go do that? Like, yeah, that's a very nice thing to do, obviously, to go visit someone when they're having a tough time. But it was interesting that, like, I was the solution to that problem.
And you have one sibling.
No, it's just me.
Just you. Oh.
Yeah.
You don't have anybody to share
No.
that responsibility that was put on you.
Well, and who knows if they would have had it. I mean, maybe that's also why I'm good at sort of at the listening is, when you're playing with yourself a lot.
Yeah.
Or with other adults. And so it just is like, I don't know, you just take up, I don't know, it's just a little less loud maybe.
That's interesting. I'm kind of now thinking about my friends who are only children. Like, yeah, all are good with lots of alone time.
Yeah.
They know how to use it in a way that's not familiar to me. Grew up in a house with lots of cousins and lots of people around all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just hearing that, my heart feels for little Devin, like.
My clown name, I got in grad school, we got named clowns.
Yeah.
And my clown name was Extra Snuggly Dennis Jr. It was what was given to me. And it's so funny how it just makes so much sense. Like I really do feel like a small little boy all the time. Yeah.
And that's something with clown work, right? Like I know little about it, but in high school, shout out to Ms. Daly. She gives a very extensive clown workshop that kind of went to the heart of clowning, and like things I remember from that. It is an aspect of your personality that you have kind of a unique relationship with, right? Mm-hmm. Like from what I remember about one's clown when you develop your clown.
Yeah, I think there's like something about sort of it's the underneath, right? It's about what it evokes for you. So for me, it was about being like soft and not having to be right. It was about like really leaning into like sort of my essence and what my body really wants to do, which is sort of like put a blanket around myself and like sing songs and, whatever. I think other people, it's like, they'll get named like Zero and that's it. But it's about their feeling of like, don't name me Zero.
Whoa,
right? That's not my name.
Yes.
Right? It's like, oh, your name's Zero. So it's a little bit like...
Oh, it's the relationship. So your clown develops from the relationship of what you were called and your response.
Yeah, I think it's like how you respond to it and what it makes you feel. Right? It's about sort of like getting to your true essence.
So when you were called Extra Snuggly Dennis Jr.
Wept. Just cried. Sobbed. Because that was like the most me I had ever, like that's like, I felt so seen. And then I think I started all of a sudden singing this song from A Chorus Line. Do you know that musical at all? There's this song called At the Ballet, and I just started singing it and weeping.
Oh my God. I mean, was that so surprising to you or? that reaction?
I was really surprised. Okay. I was really surprised by, I am not a good, I don't think I would ever be a good clown. Like in terms of like, well, maybe I would be. I don't want to limit myself. But like in terms of
that
like
attitude.
Yeah. But I never like, I don't have a proclivity towards being a clown. Like I've met actors in this world that are like, they have like a real sensibility for it. They love it. You can tell that they just, they eat it up in a way that it doesn't interest me in that same way. Mm-hmm. But when I was in clown class, I thought I was going to be a miserable failure. Like I thought I would be terrible at it.
Yeah.
And I was at first. The very first thing, they were like, be funny. And then I would try to be funny. And I think I said something like, for cat food, I ate for breakfast, I ate cat food, and it never made any sense or whatever. And then I sat down and I was ready for the worst feedback of my life. And then Chris Bays, our clown teacher, shout out to Chris Bays, he looked at me and said, do you eat cat food for breakfast? And I literally just started to weep. And from that moment on in clown class, I understood what the assignment was, which was to be completely and utterly in your own unique experience at all times. Wow. Right? To like, basically like, just allow yourself to like no facade, no pretending, no nothing. It's truly allowing yourself to be seen in the most intimate of ways, and your desires to be seen, and sort of understanding how to play that. So a lot of times you'll watch someone discover their clown, and what they're discovering is something that is just so high stakes for them, something that's so important to them, and their body just really understands it.
Whoa. How delightful that all of this information and all of this intensity is hidden under the name clown.
I know. And when we think of clowns, we think of like
Hong Kong.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like,
or like tripping over like plates of spaghetti with endless noodles,
Yeah.
big pants.
We think of the most pretense, or that's how they're introduced to us as, I mean, maybe that's the point, right? Of like it all is full circle or something, but like what we pretend, what we put on the outside shows us at our most vulnerable.
Yeah. And I think that's why clowns are so terrifying, is because they're terrifying because you don't know what's underneath, but you can tell it's not what's on the front, what's in the forefront.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Masks, clowns.
Yeah. It's hiding. That's why the sad clown is so pervasive.
Yeah.
Right?
Because what's underneath this? Ooh, that's so creepy. But cool.
But back to the voice memo.
Yeah.
I admire that. Can I say Nick? Nick?
Yeah, you could tell in the voice memo. You couldn't decide either.
Yeah, yeah.
Say Nick.
Nick.
It's on the internet. People know I'm married to Nick.
That Nick. I love that he is so passionate about what he believes, and that he has no fear of the consequence of what he'll say.
Yeah. That's not me.
No. Not me at all.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that like we or I won't do that. I trudge it. I barrel in and just be like, I hate this, but I have to say it. But no. Also, I don't want to talk so much, or center him so much, without his knowing it. But I think it's not that he doesn't have the fear. I think, if you're sensitive, you have the fear, and Nick is a very sensitive person. But I don't know. It's hard I don't know very many people in my life who are pretty staunch in but I gotta do it anyway. Like, it sucks, I hate it, and there's no like, I get the sense from Nick is like, there's no choice for me.
I have to do this.
I have to. There's no choice. I feel that sometimes. I don't feel it as strongly as my husband does, but like, like sometimes I'm just wincing. I'm twisting every muscle on my face as I send out a political Insta story or something like that.
Oh, Instagram's the worst for that.
I know,
That's why it feels so terrible.
I mean, I maybe this is the point, maybe it's supposed to have gotten so terrible that everybody's like, I'm taking a break, and then we just see each other in real life.
I hope so.
Yeah, I have to look at that as the silver lining, the hopeful way of just seeing just the worst things every day, because I then can't be on it like for a long time. I'll do something useful and then I'm out, but so I'm naturally taking breaks. It's not like, oh, it's good for me. It's just like I mentally, health wise, can't go there some days, but that means I'm engaged in my real world more.
Do you think that it's sort of like I have to do this is sort of like it's a little bit of a flow state where it's like you start to be able to sort of like when people talk about famous people, right? People who garner fame, they're in a flow state in front of millions of people. And that's why people love watching them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's because they're able to have no sense of impropriety or boundary in front of other people. So they really hit people's vibrational chords because they're just saying something or doing something that is so true to their human experience and who they are.
Yeah. And you're talking about actors, also musicians, athletes,
anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Get
doctors.
that.
You've seen if a doctor really loves their work.
Yeah.
Right. You see them get into a flow state and you
And so your question is, when I'm sharing my my brave opinions, can I access a flow state? Sorry, I don't mean to.
Well, no. I think my question for you would be: is there a subject or a time when you find flow state? I think I was more thinking: do you think Nick's
is that
passion about politics is a flow state?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. And I've never thought about flow states as far as not one concrete activity. I've only thought about flow state as in someone is making a piece of art, or someone is, I think about me when I used to be a barista, just on a busy day making lattes, and I'm in the zone. But I never thought about it as kind of a scatter or a practice with a longer timeline where it's I do this then and I do this then, but it churns me, it helps me, it's part of it. I would say that, yeah, definitely. For him, it centers him, it makes him feel even if there's a lot of stress. For me, I don't have flow state with that yet. I feel out of rhythm.
Do you flow state anywhere?
Yeah. I get it as a director. Yeah. That's a cool thing where it's just I love zeroing in the shot. I'm I know exactly what I want. It feels it's a really good feeling. And that doesn't mean I have to micro twist it this way or that way. It maybe sometimes that means I want to ask this actor what they would do if blank, and see what I get. I know exactly how I want to collaborate too. It's not even just about getting my way, but I feel very connected. I think I've been an actor for longer, so it's not as exciting, or I don't know, maybe I just don't have as much of it, even though I feel I bring a lot of myself to it, because maybe there's too many things to keep track of, blocking or whatever for me. Yeah, what about you? Do you get in flow state as a entertainer or just hobbies?
I get in a flow state when I'm teaching. really listen. Yeah, especially, I teach acting. And when I'm teaching acting, I really listen to like my instrument in a way that I don't necessarily do in other areas of my life. And I really trust what I'm going to say, even though I don't quite know where I'm going.
Ooh.
Like, if I were to, like, if you were up and I saw something, I'd be like, I don't know, there's this interesting thing about how you do this. I wonder what that's about. Like, and I sort of like ask questions. I'm like, do you think it's this? Or what do you think? I don't know. And I really like trust my
Instincts?
my instincts, but also as I'm doing it, considering this conversation we're having, I'm really like sort of listening to the pattern. Does that make sense? Like I'm listening to the. Did you ever see that movie Contact?
Yeah.
Oh, it's my favorite movie.
Oh, no, I didn't see it. I read the book.
There's a book?
Yeah, it's based off of a book.
I never read
Jodie Foster, right?
Yeah, Jodie Foster.
Yeah. I've never seen the movie, but
Well, it's a great movie with Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey.
I mean, great.
Great.
I should see it.
Great movie. But she listens to like the cosmos, like the sounds coming from the universe, and listens for patterns in the cosmos.
Yes.
And that's what I feel like in some way I'm doing is I'm listening for patterns, listening like and seeing, being like, oh, that's an interesting pattern that like keeps stopping flow. Right. And then I just sort of ask questions about that.
I mean, what you're talking to me about feels like kind of like superpower.
Really?
It really does, honestly. And I think that a lot of people don't have what you have. Maybe I'm wrong in this assumption because all my friends are the people trying to take up all the space in the room. But we're not. There's not a lot of opportunities in society to be trained in this kind of in that kind of listening. We don't live in. That's why I think in the beginning I asked, do you think your listening is somewhat cultural? Is because I think it's hard in American culture to find moments to slow down, to take a step back, to zoom out. And so for someone to be able to retain it despite, I think it's a gift, and I say this as a compliment, but also it's like, oh, we get gifts. I have gifts in certain things, and this is clearly your gift. I want to ask, do you find yourself knowing more, like being able to spot things that your friends can? Do you find yourself being able to predict the outcome of like relationships, or does it feels like a superpower to me, and I want to like ask, like, do you get rewards by being able to, I mean, you've got to. Seeing dynamics, are you able to see like who's sleeping together at this party clearly, or who's about to, or who's pretending like they are but aren't?
Yeah, I feel like that stuff, I definitely see people more for who they are than I think other people do. Like but I see usually the softer, more vulnerable side of people earlier. Do you know? And I do think that it's a little bit intimidating for people. Like when you said that you thought it was intimidating, I do think people find the way I see them to be threatening sometimes.
I believe
especially if they're like,
not that it's true,
right? That I'm a threat. Yeah. But especially people who are very guarded or have a lot of pretense or are very insecure. And have walls that are built up to sort of act like that's not there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like people who really don't want to be seen as vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
Or at all less than in their mind.
I 100% believe that because, for the audio, you can't tell, but the visual of like having you look at me is so vulnerable because I can tell you are doing all the things that you said, and I 100% understand why you would be considered as threatening because you're harder to fool.
Yeah, and I think also people don't know what to make of it. The weird thing about it, though, is I'm pretty good about like turning it off and on. Like I'm not doing it unless asked.
Yeah.
Or unless sort of confronted with it, right? And being like, oh, I have to process this because of something that just happened.
I love hearing you talk about that because it's like, you have this power. You have to like you're like, who is it? Cyclops and X-Men who's got those eyes that just like beam everywhere unless he has that like band over his eyes.
I think so.
Is it Cyclops?
I think it's like I don't know. I feel like I feel like we're gonna get ripped apart by the Marvel fans. But yes,
I mean, the potential of this podcast. So many X-Men fans. But like you know of it. You know that you can't help but take in all the information, and that in order to kind of be able to function in society, you have to like dim it, you have to turn it off so to make people feel more comfortable.
I have also found that by offering my own vulnerability, like I did in that clip, by saying, I see this in you, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
I have found that is a useful tool in finding human connection.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Rather than just being like, I am a guru and I see everything.
Yeah.
Because, I think that's true. I think that's true pure intent when you're trying to make someone feel at ease and by connecting with them. And I feel like there's an archetype of especially you run into this type of person in Los Angeles. It's a center where a lot of people are searching for answers. A lot of career success is not based on hard work, but it's random. And so home to a lot of more alternative ways of alternative practices of seeing things, so definitely in the acting coach world, there exists the type of guru person who is like, I know how to see everything, but I won't give you anything of me, and I find that to be very prevalent, right? Especially in the teaching world, I mean, I've had great teachers. I don't know.
No, you're right, though.
But
that happens a lot where people in power don't offer a lot of their own humanity.
Yeah. And I just, especially for acting, which is such a vulnerable skill, I just think it's not really possible to not show any vulnerability, And I know that you were saying that actually, like, not that you're saying that like, oh, I offer a part of myself when I'm a teacher. You're just there to be able to do the work. But I think you're inherently vulnerable. You're inherently somebody who is like welcoming someone, So I think it makes sense that you would be such a good teacher. You can see so much, but you're not like, haha, I'm a guru.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's one of the things on set that I find tricky is like, first off, like not everyone wants to get down by talking about their vulnerability.
Sure.
Do you know?
Totally.
So
yes.
so that's why I say like to you at the beginning of this conversation, I said we felt kindred because I think you're down. Like I could say something pretty vulnerable and intimate and you'd pick it up and be like, ooh, what do you mean? Like we'd look at it.
Yeah.
Right? We'd have a conversation.
My favorite thing.
That's generally like, I don't think I know not everyone operates that way or wants to operate that way.
Sure.
And I feel like, as a teacher, I'm in control of my environment a little bit more in terms of like the students who come to me are interested in my style. But I think like on set, not everyone has the same style and you don't really get to you just show up to work. You don't
Yeah.
decide who your coworkers
Exactly.
are.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so
you don't all agree to make the same commitment of like, hey, we're all going to be vulnerable today, right? Actor. See?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I know. And so I was just thinking that maybe one of the reasons when I was saying like sensing danger,
Yeah.
like going into social experiments or social situations,
But they're all experiments to you.
they are. But when I that's right. And when I go in, that there's some level of like sussing out who is someone that I'm actually going to be able to talk about something with, because I don't feel comfortable just in the small talk aspect of things.
Totally.
So like it's a little bit of like knowing, just knowing who your tribe is.
Oh, that's a
Find your
power.
tribe.
That's a power. I feel like, woof, a lot of people need this power.
Well, I think people have it. It's just my way of I think it's attuned to my body. Right?
Yeah. Well, I think, you're right. I think everybody inherently has it, but we do things to, our own, whether it's insecurities or expectations that we're supposed to meet, that eventually gets in the way as we go through life, and then we start, being misled on who our tribe really is.
Yeah. And when I went to grad school, people always asked I went to grad school for acting at NYU grad acting. And one of the things that I always say when people ask me how it was, is I say, well, I learned a lot of tools that could add up to being a good actor.
Yeah.
But I didn't necessarily learn how to be a good actor while I was there. I learned how to be a good person, like a good human. And it wasn't until sort of like 5-10 years later that I was able to sort of understand how that all fit together. Do you know, like where I took the tools of the actor and then I also took the human that I'd come out as, and was able to say, oh, this is how this all works.
Oh my gosh. That is not like, what a glowing review of the program.
I love that place.
You come out to be a good human only to, over time release that, like it all connects in an organic way that you become a power actor as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Let's see. Okay. It's 2:10. Is there, I feel like I want to chat about this, but this is like not organic too, but it is fun that we're both on shrinking.
Yeah.
Like, what is there to talk about? Like at that point it becomes like, and now let's review, which it's not. So like we can try and it probably won't make it into the, but I don't know. Okay.
I had a thought about, well, this is not organic, is it? Because it's not bringing it up in an organic way.
I mean, did you? No. Like if it's spontaneous, yeah.
Yeah, well, I did have this thought the other day, and obviously we can't do it now, but our characters know each other.
Our characters totally know each other.
They were friends.
I know.
Charlie and Tia were friends.
We could absolutely still have a scene together.
Still have a scene together, and it's actually unexplored in the show.
Yeah.
Because we mentioned it's in what's it called when it's in
exposition
canon? It's in the the universe.
Zeitgeist?
No, it's written.
Okay.
It is written.
Actually, I
it
don't
is
know.
said that Tia and Charlie were friends.
Yes.
Because you tell Brian.
I introduce you to.
Yes, you introduce us.
Yeah.
You're the whole reason we're together.
Yeah.
And one of the opportunities that I realized yesterday was that, we're not the same Asian, but we're both half.
Yeah.
And we could have easily been related on the show.
God. Oh my
You know?
God.
Like, I could have easily been your brother.
Okay.
Which, wasn't what was originally written, but I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, that's so interesting if that, because they didn't know when they cast me or you, they weren't connecting those dots. We just were the right people for those roles.
Sure. But that's such an easy connection.
I know.
Yeah, it's already there. Well, okay, we have to get this out and then just like allow it to be heard.
then they'd have to rewrite the whole show, right? Because they haven't mentioned it.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but we've only mentioned that like, oh, I introduced you, but never in the canon yet does it say how we know each other.
Yeah, but I think it would be a big leap for me all of a sudden for Jimmy to be like, Charlie, we've never talked about it. But, how are you feeling?
It would be so weird. Like, after all, like, wait, what? It would be so confusing.
But I do feel like Charlie does benefit from that part of me, that listening part of me.
Yes.
Because Brian is a real talker.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And Brian, like Michael Urie's character is set up to be it's funny because like he actually is quite generous in the show, I feel like in a lot of ways, but because he's such a chatty person and he like says he's like, I'm a selfish guy, haha. Not everybody kind of knows him like that too.
Yeah.
But I think as far as the things he do, it's like, well, he's always there. He's like, I don't know, like he does really show up, I feel like. But yeah, like it totally makes sense that your character, Charlie, would be Brian's partner.
Yeah.
To balance that.
To balance.
Totally.
But I do wonder what Tia and Charlie's relationship was like and how they knew each other.
I mean, it would probably be like us in real life. Kindred.
Pocket episode. You heard it first, Bill Lawrence. Pocket episode.
We had to just snap this.
Come on,
this
Gabby
segment
would
of it.
be there.
I know. Yeah. Not everyone could be there.
Everyone could be there.
Yeah. Everyone usually is. It's a close-knit group of people.
Exactly.
What's your favorite part about shooting Shrinking?
I really like going to set. I really like the people.
Yeah.
Like the entirety of the crew cast, it's such a warm environment. Like I always feel so. I said once to Jason Segel, I said, I'd love acting with you because when you look at me, I really feel seen.
Yeah, I would say that's
right?
So true.
Gosh, he really looks at you.
Yeah.
And I find that I find that like to be so special about that set, and also that there are so many big careers on that set, and it could be so easily for those careers to have like, warped some sort of sense of humanity, and it just hasn't.
Or justifiably to feel guarded.
Yeah.
Around anybody.
Yeah.
Especially when you're meeting people too. If you're so public, I'm sure at a point, I feel like I've gotten to this point sometimes where I'm just like, no new friends, but clearly that's not true because we're new friends.
Here we are, kindred.
I would say the same thing. Yeah. Like I have a playlist that I put on in the mornings when on my shoot days for Shrinking, and it's like I'm already in a good mood, and then it like highlights my good mood, and then on the way back I continue it, and I continue to be in a good mood. Every day I get to shoot is like the best day.
Also, I think just in line with our conversation around flow state, Bill Lawrence is so always in flow state when he's on set. Watching him operate at that level and be that brilliant at comedy, at humanity, at being a boss, at being a friend. He truly is one of a kind, and to get to watch him work and to work with him is truly a treat.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like he is thinking about all of the crew all of the time.
All the time.
It seems like.
Yeah.
Like I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel so lucky.
Well, it's time.
It's time.
We got to get you to this event. I'll do a nice little sign off. Devin, thank you so much for coming over to my dining table and having a latte with me.
Thank you for having me. The latte was delicious.
Thanks, I made it myself.
5 stars.
Well.
Not too sweet.
Yes, good.
And also rich coffee flavor. Good balance of acidity.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to open my own pop-up stand.
Right here at this dining table.
At this dining table. You have to actually come to me. But I don't want everybody to know where I live, so you don't get my address.
No, that's right.
This business will do so poorly. All right, this is awesome. Is there anything that you want people to know who may or may not be listening to this? Obviously, the people who are listening to this.
I mean, obviously, watch Shrinking. If you haven't started, start at season 1. And
what do you say to the people who are only listening to this episode because they like Shrinking?
Because they like Shrinking?
Yeah. What do you say to them?
We love you.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listening to this Pondersation. And for more awesome stuff, subscribe for ad-free episodes, bonus content, and more Pondery goodness at backdrop.fm.